In 1989, I graduated high school. Unfortunately, I wasn't that good of a student, so I went to the junior college system to get my grades up. My other friend had better grades than me, so he went right to the university system. And you know what? Comes from a good family. He's doing well. Family's doing well. But he was on the East Coast. He wasn't back home where his family was from. And of course, once he got to the East Coast, he started partying, hanging around the wrong crowd, and forgot all about school. Didn't attend class once that semester. What happened? Flunked out of college. Didn't tell his parents, but flunked out of college. Didn't find out until, it was too late. And guess what? He had to tell his family he used the money and he had to come home. Now, the family was pissed, but they didn't disown him. Eventually, he went to the junior college and got himself together, graduated from a state university, and now he's a lawyer. But he didn't get disowned. Now, that story is kind of familiar in the African American community. No matter what you do, your parents never really disown you. We've done some crazy shit to our parents and still they love us. But not everybody's the same. Fast forward! Imagine you lived in a third world country and you were trying to get your life together. And you had the opportunity that your parents didn't have to move to another country. And I'm not saying move by just getting a green card. I mean move like possibly getting smuggled to another place so that you can make it for your family and your little brothers and people in the village. And you did so, but you didn't succeed. And you had to come back home. The question is, how would your African family feel about that? That's the story of today's show. And for those African Americans out there who believe that Africans should just go and build up their country and take advantage of the opportunities, I get it. But I kind of want you to see their side of the story too when they don't succeed. France 24 English did a great documentary on some Ivorian citizens that were trying to get over to Europe and failed and had to come back home, and how much embarrassment and shame they faced from their family and friends. I know you don't believe me. Let's listen what happened to this first guy.
My family told me not to come, but I said, I'm coming. They told me that if I came, they wouldn't talk to me. But they're over there, we're the only ones who know the reality here. So I came back without telling anyone. No one even knows I'm here.
This is a guy who was living in North Africa. He was smuggled into North Africa, trying to work. There were no opportunities for him in Ivory Coast. He was trying to do his thing. He then came back because he didn't want to risk going into Europe. He'd had enough. Once he came home, his family said, "Don't talk to us. We don't like you." But it gets worse. What if you're a woman? Do you think those circumstances occur for you? Obviously, if you're a mother with 2 kids and you fail, people surely have mercy on you, right? Let's check it out.
In Tunisia, Jeanne d'Arc had her passport confiscated. She was then kidnapped and sold into slavery to a Tunisian family. When she returned, she tried to settle in Gagnoa, her family home in central Ivory Coast. But she was rejected there and ended up sleeping rough on the streets of Abidjan. A tough time when only her mother stayed by her side.
Unfortunately for me, like for many other migrants, it hasn't been easy because my family didn't welcome me back. I was hoping they'd have a different attitude, but unfortunately it was as I expected. At first they were very cold, and then it was rejection. That's what it was. I was rejected by my family. In short, when I came back, my family didn't want to hear about what I went through. No one ever asked me what had happened there, where I was and all that. No one ever wanted to know what I really experienced, so when nobody asks, you don't tell. What really hurt me was the fact that they said very clearly, you didn't do a damn thing with your life when you left. It was made very clear to me I hadn't done anything with my life.
So you hear this young lady's story. Only her mother is willing to forgive the fact that she failed. She doesn't even get invited to family functions anymore. She doesn't get invited to family weddings anymore, or nothing. But what is the reason that this can be?
Young people embarking on these migration routes are generally part of a family strategy. When I say family strategy, I mean they're considered to be family investments. Investments in terms of economic and social capacity for the family. So if you imagine that a person's departure was financed collectively with a common social and community goal, then when this person fails and returns, it feels like someone has placed his capital in the bank and has not had a return on the investment, like it didn't generate any interest payments. So the analogy would be that this social investment is understood as a kind of reinvestment in the community, in financial and economic terms, but also in social terms. We'll say, for example, X's son has arrived from Paris, X's daughter arrived from Italy. What an honour for the family. So it is perceived both as a contribution in economic terms and in terms of social status, if I can put it that way.
Now, as you have heard, a lot of people in these communities invest money into these people to get to where they're going. That's right, the community takes up an offering, trying to help these people get to where they're going because, hey, if they become successful, they're gonna send the money back to the village. So when that person doesn't become the investment that the community looks at, they're a failure and they're ostracized. You didn't make it. But as one of the brothers said, they don't understand what happens on the other side. Now, remember, we did an interview with Jonita here at Kinganda of this African brother, Nigerian brother Olutuwasin. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. And he was talking about this similar thing, that a lot of Nigerians have to do this to survive in Dubai.
Because we saw a gap between the people and the government, between the Nigerians living, working in UAE and the Nigerian government representatives in UAE. So we make ourselves the bridge between these people and the government, having meetings with the ambassador and the consular, letting them know what the people are passing through, and so we have a lot of people reaching out to us. We have a lot of people telling us stuffs per day, and she will not grant him access to the kids because he's been stuck here and cannot travel back to Nigeria for more than 3 years now that this problem started.
And what's the reason why they don't want to leave Dubai if they can't get a visa there?
They cannot make visa for them. We have a lot of companies that have promised Nigerians that whenever visas start going, reach out to us, we'll make visa for you, we'll make work permit for you. But for now, we are sorry, we cannot employ you. So those dreams are shattered because those are people that literally, most of them borrowed money to come to UAE. Many of us are breadwinners of our family. Our parents back home, our kids, our family back home depend on us. And now that we cannot work, now that we cannot get work permits to fend for ourselves, where many people even depend on their family back home to send money to them for their sustenance here in Dubai. So life been very difficult. Life been very difficult. Many homes are broken already. Many homes are broken, family shattered, people got back home, get married, cannot bring their wife to stay with them. Imagine newly wedded man and woman will not stay together. One of them in Nigeria, the other one in UAE, and the one here is stuck, cannot travel back home to see his partner in Nigeria.
Yeah, oh my God, I can only imagine. And I think they end up like separating and divorcing, and that just creates like...
He's pretty much saying it without saying it, okay? A lot of people have borrowed money from people in Nigeria to sustain themselves while they're trying to look for a job. If you go back to Nigeria without making it, and again, No fault of their own, some of them. They're trying their best to get a job. You know, if you have a beef with the UAE and Nigeria and you can't get a work visa, then you're doing the best you can. And when you try to go back home and you owe people money, you're looked at as a failure, and then you're ostracized. You're castigated from your family. There's very few things that can stop an African American family from not talking to you. I don't know almost anything that could happen unless you grape somebody or murder somebody and still you have somebody saying free my N-word. There is almost nothing that I can do to make my family stop loving me. That's just how we are as a group. But not every group is like that, all right? Some of these people don't understand that unconditional love that we might have in our community or what we think that we may have. Listen, you go overseas as a migrant and you don't make it, you're cut off. And that's what happens a lot of times over on the continent. And we might not know that. But when somebody says, go back to your country and build up your country and you owe people, and what are they going to ask you? Why did you fail? Why are you back here with us? You left here. How'd you come back? You came back here broke? Listen, let me tell you a story. Story time music! Here in Uganda, there are a group of people who left and they come back, and here in the central, in the Buganda region, they call these groups of people the Osamas, right? And those who go to Dubai that are ladies, they call Kadamas. So every December, these group of people come back to Uganda. There's many stories of these people going broke because they have a pressure of having to spend a lot of money because they went to Europe or they went to the United States, but they don't really understand how hard it is in the United States if they're lucky to get there, if they're lucky to get to Europe. I met a lot of Africans in Europe. I met a lot of Africans in Dubai or in Poland. They're doing the work that nobody else wants to do, and the living standards are not a lot, and they're still trying to send money back home because, hey, doesn't matter your mom had 8 or 9 kids. You are the one that's supposed to take care of your mom's 8 or 9 kids. It's unfair to the child. I get it. It's unfair to them because they should be able to live their life and grow, and their parents should have set them up. Many African young men and women are going overseas trying to take care of their parents' mistakes. And when they can't do it, they are being blamed for being a failure. When in the reality, the parent is a failure. The parents are the ones that failed the kids. But they can't say that because that's not how the society works here. And I damn sure can't say that to nobody because I'm looked at as an outsider, but that's my interpretation of it. Most kids are only going to be what you give them. And it's hard to make it in Dubai and become rich. It's hard to make it in Saudi Arabia and become rich. It's hard to make it cleaning toilets or working fast food or working menial jobs in Amsterdam and try to get rich and take care of somebody's mistakes that happened before you even got born. So I'm explaining this side of the story again so that a lot of people understand what I'm saying in Africa with the people that I talk to. When I go to the airport, I see like 300 or 400 people every day leaving the country. They don't have opportunity. But in the same way that I'm telling this, what I want Africans to know, when you come across African Americans and you come to America think it's land opportunity, how come these people didn't make it? You don't know our story. Just like we don't know your story. But I'm starting to understand your story. I'm starting to have empathy for the African story that I've been hearing. Now, in order for us to get it all together, we need to understand and empathize our story, what we had to go through as a people. Just like we're understanding what you have to go through as a people. And it is sad, family. I'm telling you, I live here. I live in Africa. This can even make you cry, right? You have people going over to the diaspora all the time. Some people getting sold into slavery. Some people being prostituted. Okay? Especially in the Middle East, especially in these Arabic countries in North Africa. It's nothing to joke about. Hopefully, this has opened your eyes and opened your mind to what happens to African migrants when they have to go to these places and what the pressure is on them to be successful, male or female, right? It's a lot of pressure for these people to make it for their family. Imagine having that sort of pressure on you. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Jackson. Back at it again with another episode here of Fair Use. I'm out.